friends and Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys. Fantastic viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you guys found me. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed and so grateful to do your reading. Again, today, these are the decks we'll be using for today's reading. For those of you guys interested in any of these, I do a card reveal every time I open a tarot pack or an oracle pack. You can find that in my playlist. I'll try to remember to link it to this video. And we will get into the pick a pile or pick an option shortly and into what this reading is about. I'll put the timestamp down below and I will see you guys then. Hello, gorgeous angels. Here are 5 options, and we will be taking a look at the answer to your question. Now, you can certainly ask a yes-no type question, or should I, or whatever sort of format you want to use. There's no fixed way, although you should fit the answer into the context in which you're asking. Okay, like for example, let's say we have 2 viewers and they both kind of want to know the same thing, but they ask it completely different. Like, for example, should I take this new job offering? You know, which would be a yes or a no, as opposed to asking, should I stay in my old workplace, which would be answered by a yes or a no. So I'm not really going to be like, yes, no. I'm going to read the information, which will come through as this is the optimal choice to move forward or to stay put, because for whatever reason, it might not work out. So the information is going to come through with context to your question. Okay, but you could certainly ask a yes, no, and then put it into context based on what you're asking. It should fit your story or your energy in regards to your question. Okay, if it's something completely left field and doesn't make any sense, then it's not going to be your pile and you don't need to force it to fit. Okay, now occasionally Spirit comes through here and it holds my readings hostage. And it'll come through with a message that is certainly your message that you were needing to hear. That has nothing to do with what you were asking about. So keep an open mind for those sort of rogue messages that come through, okay? Because that does happen here often. I do not intend on those. I do not look at any of these cards. I ask Spirit specifically what you're needing to know in regards to the question you have on your mind and what the answer is to help you sort of navigate through what that looks like. And we have these 5 options. Okay, so sit with these 5 piles. You can come back and ask a different question if you'd like for different areas or different aspects of clarity, for sure. Okay, and sometimes we have multiple energies coming through in a pile. You'll have to attribute whose energy is what. And if your energy is reversed, then you can certainly crisscross the energy as you see fit. Okay, but don't force the message to fit. And I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, pile 1. You guys picked this key right here in this pile. I've not looked at these cards, so we'll reveal them together. You guys can go ahead and skip on the timestamp if you want to get straight away to the channeling, although the best way to develop your intuition is to sit through this card layout, okay, and do ask Spirit for something you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this pile is your pile. Let us take a look. So we have the Ghost, and we have the Festival Goer. Can you guys see? Okay, sometimes it's very bright in here. We have Poverty with 37 for the number 10. And we have 25 with the Ring for the number 7. This is also the Ace of Clubs, which is the Ace of Wands. Rings could signify contracts. Okay, it could signify commitments. It could signify obligations, okay, or officialness. We have the Frog, number 17. So 17 is the star energy in the tarot, or the number 8. Frogs do signify cleansing, healing. And we have the butterfly here, which says frivolity. So butterflies talk about transformation, freedom, frivolity. And we have the card of anesthesia. Anesthesia. It says defense mechanism 36 with ego level here. So 36, the number 9. It says self-disconnection, insensitivity, numbness, obscuration, stupefaction, self-forgetfulness. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. And we have rationalization, defense mechanism 34, or the number 7, ego level. It says logical justification, explanation, reasoning, idolization, sublimation, and intellectualization. Type 7, the enthusiast the thinking center between pleasure and pain. So green could certainly represent the heart chakra. A yellow could signify the solar plexus energy. We have optimism with number 9. 9 is giving me hermit energy. And the hermit is all about knowing one's self-discovery. Okay, could be tapping into our spirituality. And that's Virgo energy. 9 could also be moon energy, which is Cancer, Pisces, all about our emotions. Maybe our fears or subconscious. And we have the chameleon. And we have aloneness. 9 coming through again, a little bit of that hermit energy with the aloneness. Although that's more solitude, which I guess could be considered alone. It's looking a lot like the hermit here. And we have 22 with leadership. So 22 is a master number. Okay, peacemaker, diplomacy, healthy, energetic boundaries, and divinely guided relationships. And this one says ancient Egypt. And we have some pyramids. Pyramids can talk about growth. So leadership, I'm getting some Aries energy pulling through here, divine masculine energy. We had a little bit of moon coming through. That's feminine energy. Okay, and then we have woman. Dealings, a relationship with a woman, so some more feminine energy. Now we carry both masculine, feminine energy, okay? So don't stick to gender here. Horse, short journey. So horses do talk about getting empowered. We have leadership here. It's all about freedom, liberation, but self-empowerment. Okay. And we have the alligator with take initiative action. Initiative, oh my goodness, take intuitive action. Initiative, maybe you have to take the initiative on something. Okay, I see what's going on here, beautiful people. Okay, let me sit here with this energy and tap into what this is all about. Okay, gorgeous angels, pile number 1. This messaging is coming through very clear for me. Now remember, this could be attributed energy to you, people around you, your situation around you. You'll have to connect it to what you're asking about here, but assign it to however it fits. Okay, because energy could come through predominantly with someone around you, and I'm attributing it to you, but it's in line with your question that you've asked. Okay, so pile 1, your situation here, either you or someone. I do feel there's a lot of question around somebody's intention to make something official or commit to something. Could be a relationship, could be a project, partnership of sorts. How serious is this person? Why aren't they making something official, or why aren't they going after this thing? Okay, so there's question around making something official or taking charge, taking the lead in something, transforming something to the next step here and taking action. But what we're experiencing here is maybe a disconnect, So I'm going to read this as though you're involved potentially with someone who is not showing interest or taking action. And if this is you, then like I say, apply it to you. No need to ask me if it's okay to flip it. Yes, it's okay to flip it. So why is this person seeming vacant, not showing up? It seems almost like this person is kind of in this lazy energy of no interest, focusing maybe on pleasures, okay, immediate pleasures in some way here, but it just seems like they're not taking this commitment or this proposition maybe as serious as you, or not committing to something here. There's a lot of feeling like I don't have what it takes here, okay, that is being released and healed so that this person can transform and free themselves from this sort of mindset, if you will. Because I do feel like this person is kind of taking this backseat or this more receptive energy, maybe like letting you sort of lead, or maybe waiting around. Like if this is your energy, then it's like, I'll just wait around here for the stars to align or for more to unfold and let it sort of play out, rather than aligning oneself and asserting oneself to make decisions to press forward. So there is a need to understand why this is happening. And we might not see it in ourselves, or we might not understand it about another as to why this person doesn't seem to be, I don't know, as committed or as serious here. So this person has to have full buy-in from themselves. I do feel like this person might be a lot in their mind here with rationalization, needing to intellectualize if it makes sense. Does this move make sense? And if they don't have all the boxes sort of ticked, then they hesitate and they convince themselves why they are not in a position to contribute or to be successful if they move forward. Okay, and so Spirit is coming through with there being a need to allow this person to sort of work with themselves, because there is success to be had in this level up, if you will, or this commitment. Okay, but I do feel like this person might feel like they gotta sort of get there or like work up their confidence level, belong. And I do feel like this person feels like they're not ready or won't belong. But again, it's a mindset that I have nothing to offer, or I'm in a lower position here, so maybe less experience, or I have no status, or I have nothing of offering here that would allow things to be successful. Also, there's an acknowledgement here of having to heal and release, and it could be a lot of releasing this mindset or of something that needs to be healed before there being a successful transformation. And so I think there's a lot of question around this person's disconnect, like why are they disconnected? Are they insensitive? Why are they seemingly like they don't care, or like this sort of a thing? And it's really this person's own battle, internal battle. And that Spirit is talking about this going on for some time. Now, this does say a short journey, because I do feel like this person has to go through sort of understanding this before they could free themselves and feel empowered to make decisions that is in line with their intuition. So they could be quite defensive. But if you're asking whether this person feels happy, it's like this person feels alone. Like there is this solitude sort of energy that pulls through, but I don't think where this person wants to be. I feel like it's where this person feels comfortable, but they're having to dive into their own energy to understand themselves a little bit better here. And so I feel like there might be a need for this person to feel comfortable and relax a little bit more when it comes to trusting themselves, to enjoy themselves in the process. But I do feel like this person is more fixated and focused on what isn't going to work, or what they're lacking, or what they don't have here to contribute. So music's pulling through here as well. So some of you guys could be musicians, or this person might express themselves through music. Okay, but it could be symbolic here. What I'm picking up is like a need to be authentic with their expression of what they truly want, because I feel like this person isn't asserting themselves towards what they truly want. So if the question was around what do they want this commitment. Okay, they want success. They want to have this level up, but they want it to be successful. And so unless there's a guarantee of success here, I feel like this person is humming and hawing, rationalizing, and trying to subdue themselves in some way. Yeah, music coming through yet again. I do feel like there is an energy here for confirmation for some of you guys. This person is fairly an independent person. This person does like to control, themselves in a way that can sort of be in control of outcome. So I do feel there's a lot of that. Like if I can't know the outcome for sure, the success of it, then there might be a lot of hesitation. I also feel like this person could be somebody who does like the leisure time. Like I see a lot of leisure, drinking, partying, friends. They might be surrounded by lots of groups of people. They might like to network a lot. You might know them through your friend group. Okay, I'm getting music though again, so I don't know, maybe they like parties or concerts, or they play an instrument here. I'm also feeling chariot energy a lot. Okay, so chariot's Cancer. And so that's all about shadow integration as well, and finding balance. And so I feel like there's a need for this person to integrate parts of their belief system that is stuck in the shadow, that tells them they're not capable or that they can't have success. Okay, and I feel like with that chariot energy, which is 7, I'm really picking up a tower as well. Okay, and tower is all about a deconstruction, which could tie back to this frog, because I'm really looking at a tower that's built in the mind, where it's like it needs to be the thought system or the stories we believe of ourselves has to be deconstructed and released and healed so that we could transform ourselves. And so I do feel this person's fairly vibrant, like a very vibrant sort of personality, but I don't know that they see themselves as being someone who would have success. Like I'm seeing a lot of color here, especially also this chameleon. So somebody who could, really blend into their environment as well, or really stand out, but it's up to this person. And maybe they feel like, I don't know, that they need to belong before they fully sort of commit here in some way. But the horse is pulling through very strong. And so this is a need for independence and freedom that this person is working through. And I feel like what Spirit is really saying is this opportunity is put in front of this person so they could really then connect to a true sense of independence and freedom. Because right now I feel this person is kind of giving into the fear story. And so this is the opposite of what they might, like want for themselves. Because if we truly think we are free to move in any direction and have control, but really we're held back here because of the fact that there's fear in failure or not succeeding, then really are we free, or are fear sort of driving? And I feel like there is this suppression with this numbness and this insensitivity. It's like playing down the desire to move towards this thing. So This is also allowing this person for growth. So if your question was, should I take action on something here that you're questioning? It's like, yes, this will allow you to have growth, because I do feel for some of you guys, it's like you want to take action with something and you're questioning. And for others of you guys, it's like questioning why someone might be sort of doing the opposite here than of what is required here to have success. And maybe you intuitively sort of feel connected that this person, I don't know, should take action on something. But I feel like either way, there's an energy that's absent from lining themselves up with moving towards what the universe is saying is successful for this person. Now, I do want to read this chameleon because I feel like there might be some more here, but let's just see. Spirit for pile number 1. So we can wrap up this reading. What information do we have regarding this question for pile number 1? So it says that's it. Okay. I'm going to read the chameleon first, actually. See what we see. These cards are so beautiful. Look at the colors here. I just want to show you guys. Rose gold. Beautiful. All right. Let's take a look at the chameleon. So it says, needing adaptability and change. Chameleons, the remarkable masters of adaptation, possess an innate ability to effortlessly blend in their colors to harmonize with their surroundings. Their impressive camouflage is but one aspect of the incredible nature. Chameleons embody a deep understanding of when it's time to blend in and when it's time to stand out, symbolizing the essence of adaptability and change. Call upon the chameleon when you seek to embrace adaptability and remain open to positive movement and change. We have optimism here. Okay, and then it says, call upon the chameleon when you seek to embrace adaptability and remain open to the positive movement and change. The chameleon spirit aids in staying present, connected to your intuition, and attuned to your feelings. Like the chameleon itself, you can blend in or stand out in any situation. Adapting is needed. By listening inwardly and reflecting on what you feel, you can navigate your response to people and circumstances with profound insight. When confronted with challenges or uncertainty, turn to the chameleon for guidance, allowing it to illuminate different perspectives and create solutions that align with positive opportunities. Often our natural apprehension or anxiety and fear of our past experiences resurfacing can cause us to miss out on joyful and adventurous opportunities to connect. Thus, call upon the chameleon to help you tune into your intuitive sense of what is for you and make choices confidently, free from fear. Remember that change can be a catalyst for positive growth in your life, but it necessitates an open mind and heart. Embrace new opportunities and experience as chances to discover what resonates with you. Take the time to process this newfound knowledge before taking action, allowing conscious choice to guide you instead of unconscious instinct, which we were talking about. When we respond to life rather than reacting to it, we cultivate flexibility, adaptability, and resilience, enabling you to thrive in any circumstance. The chameleon spirit encourages you to find your unique way of adapting to change. What works for others may not necessarily be the best fit for you. You have the autonomy to choose when to blend in, observe, radiate, or showcase your vibrancy. Trust your instincts and call upon the chameleon spirit whenever you require assistance in responding to change with grace and adaptability. Chameleon will serve you as a guide, helping you discover the mood approach that feels most comfortable and aligned with who you are. So, if this is you, then you probably really resonate with that because that was the bulk of this reading. I feel like this frog is healing and releasing. We've had situations where now we question our own confidence or our ability. And like I said, that vibrancy was really coming through, and same with that independence with the horse. I feel like there's a desire to have freedom, but we must be flexible, and I feel like we're getting really bogged down by that mind story. And so this is why this person is sort of not committing or not allowing it to flow. And really, Spirit is saying there's an intuition here that this person might be ignoring here because the fear is really at the helm here of these decisions, okay, which is limiting this sort of progression. So we have the 8 of feelings, and like that book was talking about connecting to the feelings. And I feel like there's a lot of suppression in regards to allowing themselves to really feel and connect. And so this 8 of feelings is an 8 cups, which is walking away from what is not emotionally satisfying. And so I feel like this person isn't emotionally satisfied with the status quo at all. But this is where they sort of sit. And like I said, like there's a desire here, but there's more loud fear. And the wolf talks about independence, like self-autonomy here, like being able to be like this wolf. This person really needs to dive into their intuition here. We have the 10 of spirits, which is 10 wands, and it's in reverse. So 10 wands is when we're carrying a burden, a heaviness. Now in the reverse, it could mean we can no longer carry on. We put down that burden. And we have the 5 of cups in reverse. So this is that past situation coming out of that sort of period of feeling bad or sad or like we missed out or regrets, because that's the burden here that we need to put down. And then we have the hangman, suspended perspective, exactly, and bats, which talk about the intuition. So Pisces energy, this is all about I'm getting really connecting with our emotions and our feelings, but seeing it from a complete different perspective that's more enlightened and tapped into the intuition rather than the fears. And we have the 8 of thoughts in reversal. Yeah, all about the self-limiting prison thoughts, belief stories. So this is either someone's told us something that we believe to be true about ourselves, but it is the card of where we're incapable of seeing a way through because we are blinded by something that doesn't necessarily exist, or believe something that doesn't necessarily exist and think it's in our way. So if you guys are this person is talking about what it is we're needing to sort of do, if this is someone that you're involved with in some way, Spirit is kind of giving more answers here. This person's in the process of walking away and healing and releasing a lot of what has been holding this person back. There is a change of perspective, seeing things completely different in a way that's more tied to their intuition. And they're putting down this heaviness and this burden. And this is what was really getting in the way of this person, a real mindset here of an experience that really limited their movement. And so I do feel this person is sort of on their way, but I do feel you might be experiencing a pause here, or you might be experiencing where this person with this loneliness and this hangman is removed. Again, like, where's this person at, because it seems like they're disinterested while they pause, or they're not committing, like they're not claiming it. And so I do feel they're on their way to claim it, but this is the process. This is where they're at. Freeing themselves of heaviness when it comes to emotions and discouraging thoughts and limitations and belief stories that say I cannot or it will not be successful, which is opposite to the mind that they've been carrying for who knows how long, maybe for a long time. Because I do feel like there's something that maybe they're emotionally invested in for some time that isn't serving them anymore. Okay, so this is your reading, pile 1. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. gorgeous angels, pile number 2, you guys pick this beautiful key right here and this pile, and we ask the divine to answer your question, whatever question you have on your mind. Okay, I do suggest you go listen to the intro to know how this is going to pull through. Okay, could be any sort of question, yes, no, whatever you have, but you need to take this into context to your situation. Okay, because we could have people asking similar type of question, but asking in different ways. So therefore, it's more of the energy that's pulling through here. Okay, don't force it to fit, and you can go click straight away to the channeled message if you don't want to sit through this card layout, which I do suggest for those of you guys learning to expand on your intuition. Okay, so we have 28 with patience under the Bodhi tree, northern India. Or the number 10, patience. Okay, and we have VR, virtual reality goggles. Interesting. And we have distant horizons with 36, or the number 9. So 9 is giving me hermit energy, which is Virgo, also moon energy. Cancer, Pisces. This ship could be talking about travel or movement. Do we have an anchor here? So we could be weighed down or feel stuck from moving. Okay, or maybe it needs to get rooted or grounded in something. Let's see. We have 24 with the heart and the Lenormand. The heart could signify people we care about, romantic relationships, love, family, friends, people we really care about or love. Red roses could signify romance. Pink roses could signify self-love. So 24, or the number 6. 6 is lovers. Lovers could be about a choice. We have Gemini energy coming through. Oh my goodness, we have a ring. Some of you guys might have been drawn to pile 1 because we did have a ring, different card though. So rings could signify commitments, officialness, contracts. Okay, 31 or 4. 4 is about stability. 4 is about structure, foundations, planning. 4 is Emperor energy, Aries. 4 is also death, Scorpio energy. So death could be talking about a release in order for there to be a rebirth. We have consolation. Consolation, and look, there's sort of this angel flying in with an olive branch and a little thing in their hand. Consolation. Okay. And we have denial, 35, or the number 8, defense mechanism, ego level. It says reality denial. This, even with this VR, I was getting that. Okay, reality denial, disapproval, refute, negation, avoidance, refusal of weakness. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okie dokie. And we have resistance. And this is Mercury in Taurus. Mercury is a ruling planet for Gemini and Virgo, which we had Gemini here, but that would be magician energy. Number 2, about balance, and duality and choice is coming through yet again with the lovers with a choice. 2 is also justice, judgment, which could be talking about karmic contracts. Okie dokie, and then we have 2 fish here. So fish could be symbolizing Pisces sign, but fish are prosperity. Fish might need to submerge themselves in their emotions and navigate through. Fish could be talking about needing direction, feeling sort of lost maybe. And we have participation with a 4 coming through again. Participation, I'm getting like a 3 pentacles type energy, but not quite. I'm not sure what I'm feeling from this one so much just yet. We have bird perched, waiting for news, package, letter. Interesting, because this guy has sort of a letter and he's receiving some form of news or something it looked like he was waiting on. With his hands open. It says package and letter, and look at this little, I don't know, looks like a tooth, but I don't know what that is. It says good. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. Good. I don't know. Okay, so birds can talk about communication. So we have air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and we have water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and we do have Taurus as well coming through. Predominant in this reading, Giraffe, connect to higher wisdom. Okay, let me tap into this energy and get your answer, beautiful people. Okay, pile number 2, like I mentioned in the other piles, it's up to you to attribute whose energy is what, okay? I might say to you, and it might be a person you're dealing with or a situation here. I do feel like you're dealing with a specific person or a situation. For a lot of you, it's a person. Okay, and I'm not sure which person you are, but I'm assuming you're the person who feels you're at the mercy of someone else who is being quite stubborn. Something's not moving here. Okay, why is it not moving? And you probably want to know why it's not, and we'll just unpack sort of all of the questions that do come through this. So you might be romantically involved with this person, okay, or you might be family member, but either which way, there's a choice on love or a choice to commit, a choice to create some form of stability, I think, here. And there's a choice, okay, but I do feel like somebody is in denial. They're not seeing reality as it truly is, which is creating a lot of no direction. I feel like you feel, okay, if I got the roles right, you feel like there could be a lot of abundance and there's a set path. Okay, because I do feel like you might have a higher insight, or you might be connected to a greater understanding. So maybe you're a little bit more connected to the divine, or you see a way through. But you feel at the mercy of this person who seems very aimless, or at least stuck and fighting, resisting, or like I said, what's happening with this person is they are in denial here. Okay, and I feel like they're in denial in regards to the truth of a lot of things, and for all of you guys, it could be very different. That is slowly being revealed or understood by them. And so Spirit is talking a lot about you having patience, which I'm sure you've already shown and have. Okay, but the quote here, and I'm totally going to butcher it, but it's in regards to love. Love has no timeline. Okay, there is no cap to how much patience we show in love, period. Yes, we have healthy boundaries, meaning we got to show love to ourselves. We don't put ourselves out. Okay, but the only time we feel like we're put out is when the ego has an expectation that it deserves more or something greater, which is not stemmed from love. And so I want to make sure we're both talking about love as it stands, unconditional love from the heart space and not from the ego, from the I that thinks it deserves something or someone to change or be a certain way. Love that can love from any point and extend beyond this sort of realm, because love is eternal. Love has no expectations. Love has no boundaries. Love just is. Love is acceptance. Okay, and so I feel like we're working through understanding patience, because we can't just all of a sudden switch from an egoic love or switch from the way we feel to understanding these higher truths if we need to process. Okay, and so I'm talking to you directly if you're the person feeling at the mercy of someone else who's in denial. So this is very layered here, okay, is a message for the person who is feeling frustrated or having to show patience. And we got to work to a point where it's no longer about patience and it's all about just extending love. Okay, so as long as we're on the path of understanding this and still having to peel it back, we're going to experience resistance from another, not the other way around. So this person isn't all of a sudden going to know a direction, and we're still sort of loving from an egoic place, or we're still sort of trapped in not understanding what it means to love from the heart. So this does involve a balance between unconditional love of self and fully tapping into higher states of consciousness when it comes to how to love and how to engage in a loving way while we're coping and dealing with people who might be very fixed, stuck in denial, or resisting some form of truth and some form of progress. So the other layer here is I feel you might be, some of you guys, separated or at a distance here, physically or emotionally, spiritually. There's a gap. This person feels like they're really stuck, and Spirit is saying this will move. There is going to be an offering here. There is going to be a form of, as my email confirms, it just went off, a reconciliation of sorts, okay, where this person does come forward. And it's showing here as a consolation. It's like they want to bridge this gap. And I feel like you want this person to be actively involved in participating in some form of stability, in some form of groundwork, in some form of anchoring themselves to reality of what you feel is this connection. But Spirit is reminding you that reality is actually not this worldly world, okay? In other words, it's not what manifests in this world. That is impermanent. Manifestations, such as people, relationships, and experiences, all come in and out of existence. They're not real. The reality is the eternal self. Okay, the reality is love, unconditional love. And so you're learning about seeing the world as manifesting in and out of existence as an observer that connects to oneness of consciousness and connects to that which is eternal, so that you and this person can connect sort of on this eternal level of oneness. So there is no more need for any sort of validation in the 3D world. There is no need for this person to do or be anything however they are. Okay, and so I feel like this person in the 3D world of the manifestation is stubborn and resisting because there is a lot of, like I said, denial. And for all of you guys, it could be a bunch of reasons, I need to heal certain beliefs, certain experiences. And so there's avoiding of dealing with this. There's an avoidance of maybe connecting with another, an avoidance of participating and building something and committing and making things official and giving to love and cooperating. And so there's a lot of frustration on the other side. Okay, but I feel like this is all talking about a cycle with the number 10. And 10 is Wheel of Fortune, which could really be talking about this destined sort of experience that we go through. And we can experience this cycle kind of off again, on again as it flows. And throughout these cycles, we're transforming closer and closer to a greater sense of consciousness or a greater sense of wisdom. Okay, now wisdom, when I say wisdom, we're not talking about intellect that comes with the mind. We're talking about heart wisdom and the eternal light wisdom, consciousness from a higher perspective of understanding what love it really is here. Okay, and so it's this way by the design of the creator that this person is resisting, or that this person is sort of floundering. It's not that they are doing this to torture you. In fact, this person has some form of a divine experience that needs to work its way through, that you and this person sort of agreed to, maybe in a past life. There is this sort of karmic entanglement, if you will, in which you're learning and they're learning. And so if we feel like we're waiting on someone else, Spirit is saying, no, the divine is waiting on your active participation of detangling yourself from the 3D world that's just an illusion. It's like sleep mode, just like this VR. And so when we have a dream, we wake up and we feel silly. We know we were sort of immersed, thinking we were that character, making choices and decisions that felt real, despite how silly they might have been. But they seemed real in the dream. This is the same as the 3D world. This is nothing but a dream. Manifestations coming in and out of reality. This is VR. And so when we take this very seriously, we're still immersed in the mind. We're not connected to the eternal light, the observer. Okay, and so this is a lot about understanding that we're not the doer. We're not the ego or the I that creates certain outcomes. The divine is manifesting, and we're learning to connect to the eternal light here and make conscious decisions so that we don't feel separate, so that we don't feel lonely, so that we don't feel disconnected from the one we love. Because I feel like you feel sad or disconnected or like you want progress, and that this person is way down or stuck, and you're sort of at the mercy here, floundering as well because this person isn't moving. Okay, so take it back to self in order to connect to a higher wisdom, and also about you receiving this sort of communication here that it does come. Okay, and this person still having to work through this form of not seeing or understanding the truth of themselves. But I think you're also discovering the truth of yourself, that you're not the manifestation of the 3D world. You're not the dream character that's living here. Yeah, your body is here, but you're not your body, and you're not your mind. You're not your thoughts. You're not your experiences. You are this divine light. And once we start to participate in the world this way, we then understand what it is like to truly love. Okay, I'm going to pull some tarot just because I did for the other pile, although I do feel this is fairly complete. Spirit, for pile number 2, what is the answer to their question here? Clear and concise message. So some of you guys could ask, am I going to hear from this person? Yes. Will this person move forward? It really depends on your movement as well. So there's healing here. There's a need for us to ascend. You know, there's definitely potential here for an official sort of commitment. But this has nothing really to do with whether someone else is going to be coming out of their stuckness. This has everything to do with you connecting to the reality, okay, that's outside of this reality of the 3D world that you might feel is very real. There's a greater reality, which is your divine being, your essence, the one that's connected to everyone and everything, you know, and not on this like woo-woo spiritual, we're all one, but we're not understanding. What does that mean? We are all the divine consciousness here from the one source, but we're working on connecting to that by detaching from the ego, detaching from the little I. So, Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. What is the answer here for pile number 2 that's going to help them to see the answer to their question? So, we got the Wheel of Optimism, which I was really feeling Wheel of Fortune, like I said. So, we could be experiencing a lot of cyclical behaviors here with this person, you know, and feeling very stuck again. There's no way forward. We're spinning our wheels. We want forward movement, but we feel way down or stuck or tied to someone who is stuck, doing circles. as Spirit is saying, there's only circles when we don't learn. It's only circles when there isn't transformation. And so we need to have grace and patience with ourselves, because again, self-love requires patience and acceptance. Okay? Forgiveness, 70 times 7. However it takes. There is no cap to patience and love and grace. Okay? To truly say we unconditionally love something, there is no cap. There's no limit. There isn't. If you want to believe that, then that's ego. That's self-protection, deflection. Okay? There is no need to have any aversions or feel any contracting energies unless we're involved in dancing with the ego. And so this is what we're cycling out. But there is some form of contract here when it comes to going through cycles so that we can understand. Okay? So here we have Starlight of Hope. So don't lose hope here. And this is like really talking about a future vision of what we want to attain our star. Now, this could be a fine line between the ego having a desire of what we want for the future and how attached are we to this outcome. So Spirit wants you to check your ego. Work with the divine, have a vision of what you want, and let the divine unfold and trust that it will unfold exactly as it should. We don't know the path. We don't know the timing. We don't know anything except for the fact that Spirit's going to align us with getting our wish. Okay, but if we start to get very attached to how and who and when, then we start to create all sorts of chaos and suffering. And so Spirit is really saying, don't lose hope here, because for some of you guys, it was wanting to hear from someone who we might be disconnected from. Okay, so Aquarius energy. And we have the 9 of Thoughts. So here's the anxiety. Look at the monkeys. Okay, so monkeys could be definitely where thoughts are kind of very scattered. You know, we don't know what to think. We don't know what reality is, and it's driving a lot of this anxious thoughts. And so we got to get out of the mind and into the heart wisdom. Like I said, the mind is going to throw up all sorts of stories. None of them are real. The mind isn't a real entity. The mind casts fears, doubts, stories. They're not true. They're illusions. Okay? So we have the 6 of Somatics, which is 6 pentacles in reverse. And, and we have the 5 of Thoughts, which is the 5 swords in reverse. So a lot of conflict around an imbalance, where this person, like I said, isn't participating, you know, energetically. They're not contributing, energetically giving. It feels like with this camel in the desert, it's like I'm without. I am starving for maybe emotions, or like, you know, without substance here. It's an imbalance. You might be giving more than you're receiving, or you might not want to be in a position that's imbalanced and give more. So Spirit is saying, what part of this is ego? Are we giving from a place of love because we want to love? Are we giving from a place of our heart that's open and compassionate? You know, or are there limitations and restrictions around how we can love and who we can love because of the ego? Creates the conflict. So it might be a change of perspective, rather than this person is stubborn, this person is not giving to me, this person, me, I, what I want, what I envision, it's not coming because this person. Meanwhile, no. That's ego. Okay, and so what Spirit's really talking about, 2 people have to find a way to find balance by seeing their own energy and understanding their own self. How they're contributing, why they're contributing, what are their intentions. If there's an imbalance, how is this created? What is the mind story that we're attached to? What's creating this anxiety? Okay, so we have 19, Sun's self energy. This is the sun. Beautiful sunflower here. So sun is all about enlightenment and consciousness. Okay, it's also joy and seeing clearly and contentment. But I feel like this is really talking about the enlightenment path. Okay, I feel like we're working through becoming very conscious. What are we getting conscious of? Conscious of the authentic self, not the egoic self. Okay, and so to get to the conscious self, we have to shed egos. We have to see what's false, the stories and the anxieties. Okay, because we start to tell ourselves certain things, we start to believe. That's all ego. and it creates the tension in the 5 swords. And so I feel like we're not seeing that just yet in ourselves. We're still looking at this person and what this person isn't doing and can't do and all of that, and losing hope. Okay, so kick it back to, this is a journey of self-enlightenment where I'm connecting to a higher state of wisdom and consciousness so I can make different decisions when we go through this cycle or this karmic experience, because it's being divinely guided to give me more clarity, to give me more understanding, to awaken me, awaken unconditional love within me, not transactional egoic love. Okay, so we got to get out of this 3D world with our mind. And here's the 4 of feelings, 4 cups. I'm like a little hedgehog. So we feel unloved. We feel maybe dejected. We feel like in this 3D world, it's the reality. Okay, and we're allowed to feel how we feel, but Spirit is saying the only reason we feel what we feel is because we're believing the dream. We're believing the mind. The mind is nothing but an accumulation of karmic energy. It's the inertia of karmas, stories, projections, fears. None of it's true. It's not a real entity. We have to rise above that so that we can be the observer of the real truth of what's going on. And the real truth of what's going on is there's an eternal conscious light being that you are here that is connected to this person. Okay? And so are we feeling rejected? Are we feeling left out? Are we feeling like the universe isn't giving us what we want here? It's because we're not seeing clearly and we're not understanding our pure self. We're still in the ego mask. We're still in the story. All right. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. I feel like it's a progress. I need to be patient. But I feel like we're really sort of putting it on this other person to have progress and to undo something to make us feel better. And it's the other way around. You need to be kind of working through this so that there is progress. Okay. And so if this person does come forward, which I do feel, like I said, there might be absolutely no progress here. You might have some joy and say, yay, but how much progress have we had? There needs to be shedding of the ego. There needs to be identification of the thought story that's going on within you, or else we're just repeating another cycle. This is what Spirit wants you to know. There's going to be a repeat. The only way to break out of the repeat isn't going to be suddenly this person wakes up and wants commitment or wants officialness. No, it's you're going to pull yourself through this with a higher state of understanding so that things can change and elevate, because you're the one shifting the timeline. Okay, or else you can consistently experience this dissatisfaction. And look at cactus, and like I said, this camel in the desert wandering dry without resources, feeling left out. I do feel like you feel left out, Yeah, and then it's like a test of endurance. It's been ongoing for some time. I've been so patient, Spirit saying like it's going to take as long as it takes for you to identify your own ego. Okay, ego is just accumulation of stories that we're attached to. That's it. We identify with those stories. That's what an ego is. Okay, we need to see our own ego, our own stories, our own VR. It's not real. None of it. Okay, so pile number 2, this is your reading, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Gorgeous angels. Pile number 3, you guys picked this key right here and this stack of cards. So what are we looking at? We're looking at answer to your question. Okay, whatever you ask. Now you got to take it into context, because we have the question asked in 2 different ways around the same thing from different viewers. Okay, so I'm going to read the answer and then you put it into context to your question. Okay, but if this isn't anything around what you're asking, then go check out another pile. Okay, because we could certainly tap into a pile here that might be something completely we're not ready to hear or at the state in which we understand what's being communicated. Okay, so that's fine. You can go check out another one if it isn't what you're asking about. But I do intend on delivering whatever it is Spirit wants to communicate here to you in regards to an answer to your question. Okay, it could be asked in any sort of way. You can click on the timestamp, which will take you directly to the channeling, but I do suggest you sit through the card layout so that you can develop your own intuition. Let's take a look. So we have card number 2 with the 6 diamonds. So this is 6 pentacles. And then we have the clover in the Lenormand. Okay, the clover is the most positive card in the Lenormand. It's kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. It talks about luck and things shifting and blessings. Okay, interesting. 2 is all about balance. 2s are about choices. Duality could be talking about partnerships. Okay, and then the 6 diamonds, 6 pentacles is all about equal reciprocity. It could be about us having to give or being on the receiving end. Sometimes it could talk about a lack of balance or a need for generosity. Okay, so we have passports, and we have 2 passports and a bag here. So we see the world. This could be talking about traveling abroad. So you only need your passport when you travel international. Okay, so 2 passports, the number 2 here. We have the number 12 with privileged lady. So 12 is hangman energy. I'm getting Pisces. Or the number 3. And 3 is about growth, relationships, and the initial success. Privileged lady. Wow. And we have number 30 with this peacock. Okay, or the number 3. 3 again. 3 is Empress energy, which could be divine feminine energy. Okay, Taurus, Libra energy coming through. Peacock could talk about us, our self-expression, us showing parts of ourself through expression. I'm getting 6 wands energy. Okay, let's keep going. We have Malady, and this guy looks like he's sick in bed. Okay. And we have collective plague number 70 with stress level predation. Predation, abduction, capture, trap, theft, obligation, and constraint. Type 7, the enthusiast thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay. Excuse me. And we have authority, number 10. 10's about completion, ends a cycle, and transformation. And we have Mars in Capricorn. So authority could really be also Emperor, which is Aries, or it could be Hierophant energy as well. Okay, which is Taurus energy. I'm also getting a King of Swords type energy through here. Okay, so King of Swords is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Let's keep going. And we have the Leopard. Wow, okay. I was kind of being taken back to the fable of how the leopard got its spots. So there could be an experience here that we've had that's changed us sort of forever in some way. We have sharing. So I'm feeling Empress energy from this beautiful card. But remember I said about the 6 pentacles could be a generosity. So either we're giving or maybe we're receiving, but the sharing is definitely this giving and receiving energy. So Taurus, Libra with this Empress, divine feminine. And look at, we got this beautiful energy coming through. She looks very abundant here in this garb. It's giving me this peacock energy too, like very beautiful, very Queen of Wands. So Queen of Wands is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy pulling through. In fact, I think some of the tarot has the Queen of Wands with a leopard. I'm not sure which deck that is. Sometimes she has a black cat and sometimes she has a leopard here. So 33 with protection. The Cave of the Hands, Argentina. So what is protection here? What are we protecting ourselves from? Or are we being protected? 33 is a master number. It's about reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. So interesting. Reproduction is divine feminine, fertility, birthing something. So we see all the hands here on the wall. Protection. And we have Vase, secret admirer. Wow. So we're not going to take words literally, but secret admirer energy pulling through here. There is some maybe someone observing, somebody admiring your beauty in some way here. Wow. Okay. And then we have the mountain goat with keep going. So a mountain goat could be, well, I am feeling with these horns, it could be Aries, but also Capricorn energy, which we were feeling with both or throughout this pile. But keep going could be an encouragement here to move forward through something. Okay. I do feel like I want to read this leopard because I do feel like this might give us some insight. It says making decisive decisions, right, by this authority. And this, remember I said I was getting King of Swords. King of Swords takes decisions here. So making decisive decisions is adorned with its beautiful and distinctive spots. The leopard moves through the jungle with a potent and agile presence. It symbolizes strength and courage, capturing the essence of the untamed wilderness. The leopard's inspiring demeanor encourages us to be bold and resolute in pursuing our goals and making decisive decisions with unwavering confidence. Call on leopard to bolster your courage and help you make decisions that propel you towards your aspirations. Tapping into the leopard's energy and support allows you to trust your instincts even in uncertainty. Embracing the leopard's guidance can provide a sense of direction, helping you navigate when to act stealthily and move forward confidently. With leopard's guidance, you can move towards your goals with clarity and determination. Leopard encourages you to be fearless in your pursuit of success and trust your abilities to make sound decisions. It is easy to get bogged down in an indecision and doubt. When self-doubt resides within, so does the light counterpart, confidence. When there is one, there is the other. The leopard reminds you that you have the power within yourself to make bold choices and pursue your goals with confidence. Leopard is a powerful familiar that represents strength, courage, and grace in the form of leadership. With its unique and striking spots, the leopard moves through the jungle with a fierce presence that inspires confidence and determination in those who call upon it. Leopard can help you lead a team and find the words of motivation that help others trust your guidance and leadership. Trust yourself and your instincts, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Be fearless in your pursuit of success and trust your ability to make things happen. When things don't go as planned, know you have the agility and courage to learn from your experiences. What did I say about the spots? And adapt your situation with earned wisdom through experience. Leopard teaches you to see new opportunities and pounce when the moment feels right. It reminds you that success often comes to those willing to take risks and make bold moves. With the leopard as your guide, you can trust in yourself and move forward with strength and grace. Okie dokie. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay. Pile number 3. Beautiful. I'm so glad to be reading for you guys, angels. I do feel only one sort of energy here. Okay. You guys are going to have a huge impact in this world. So there is an idea here that you have. There's something here. Okay. This is something that's pulling through here that I feel you haven't yet quite fully allowed yourself to take action and accomplish something here, because I do feel like you might be doubting. Okay, there's some doubt. And if you're not doubting yourself, you might be putting some weight on some form of constraint here. Like it's handicapping you in a way, or limiting you in a way, or holding you back in a way. Okay, but Spirit is really talking about we might be experiencing this setback, like for some time, okay, which seems very real or seems very discouraging, however you're experiencing that. But there's such a huge energy around you, and this huge energy is really your ability to stand above the crowd here with what you have to offer. I feel like you're contributing something here to the collective that is going to benefit you, but benefit the collective. And I feel like it really is a huge shift here. Okay, a shift of your world. I feel like financially, or just energetically as a whole, like this way of following and pursuing this passion. For a lot of you guys, it could be, like a vision of, I don't know, like a self-made business or some thing you want to devote yourself or commit yourself to. And it's like you might be going through, I don't feel ready, or I'm not in a position just yet, or I'm waiting for confirmation in some way to give her. And Spirit is really saying, like, stars are aligned exactly as they need to be. Things are unfolding as they should. And so if you have any sort of doubts or any sort of pressure on yourself that something's not where it needs to be, or you're not as far along, Spirit is saying this is exactly as Spirit is unfolding this journey for you. Okay, that you are divinely protected and guided throughout this experience. And to keep having that trust in what you're birthing, because I do feel like there is you creating something that's very unique to you, and you having a lot of people that, like I said, benefit. Like, this is a secret admirer, so I feel like there's a community of people, or like you're really admired, by your work. You're really known for this work and this contribution and this investment. And I feel like by putting it out there, you have more in kind. You are really rewarded. It's like the more you give, the more you're receiving, and the more luck you're generating here, the more positive karma you're generating here. But I do feel like there is a bump, which seems very insignificant to me looking at it from this energy, but we might be in the bump period, feeling very constricted, or like we might feel like we have to involve ourselves with a different obligation. And it's like, damn it, like I want to invest in this, or I thought I'd be further along, or I want to move in this. And Spirit is saying you will. This is something that is sort of like your birthright, why you're sort of put on this world. Okay, there is this right timing where things are very clear and you take action based on the right time and the right moves at the right people coming in. Because I feel like for some of you guys, there might be, help from someone else or a partner, or like it could even be the divine acting through certain things that allow there to be movement. But I don't feel like it's just because, like I said, the passports were giving me like international travel, and really what I was getting from that is like going a very far distance, like not just moving to another sort of city or like up the street. It's like this energy of going very far here in whatever this thing is. I don't know how else to describe it, but I feel like it's you expressing yourself in a way here that allows yourself to be seen and appreciated. And it also, like I said, brings towards you a lot of abundance. And so I feel like we could get bogged down with the things that do not work, or the experiences we had that might show us the opposite here. And Spirit is saying it's just experiences that strengthen us so that we can be more decisive when we make decisions. And so if something didn't quite work out or click the way it should the first time, or when you tried it, Spirit is saying it's all sort of for a reason. It wasn't the right time for it to click. It might have not have been the right person or the right situation that was aligned, but it's because the right situation and circumstances aligning here to you. I'm feeling a very abundant, beautiful, confident energy, that's very business driven, that's very savvy, that's very smart, that's very in control of making decisions. And I feel like this is what Spirit is sort of showing. And so if you are in an energy where you feel you can't make decisions, or you feel trapped by something else, Spirit is saying this is temporary. This is all for your protection for now, because this, like I said, the timing was either not aligned, or there was something greater or bigger or someone better to work with. And so there might have been, false starts, or it didn't quite click, or we're just sort of feeling held back in some way for some time. But to definitely keep believing in what it is that you're producing, because I feel like what you're producing here is something that is very, it's very specific to the way you deliver this, but it does offer great abundance to the collective. And yeah, I really feel like it comes full circle back to you, abundance to you financially, and everything, every way that it could sort of support you here. So I don't know what your question was about, maybe following a passion, or would you be successful, or why it's not working just yet. And so we answered a lot of that. It might not work because there might be still some protection against what it doesn't work. And whether you be successful, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like you're going to go not only the distance, but, very far in this. And things do become very clear. And you do have a lot more control and power over the decisions you're making. And if you asked about whether you should continue pursuing something, yes, keep going. You will be definitely admired and seen and appreciated. So, Spirit, can we see some more for pile number 3? What is this that we're seeing here in regards to pile 3's question? What is the answer to their question? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. 7 of Wands. This is this keep going energy, fighting for what matters, and feeling like sometimes it's like everything's against us, going against the grain, feeling like we're going uphill. And Spirit is really saying, everything you experience with this elephant, and even when we read in the card layout with the leopard, it's like the experiences of the past create the strength of the present moment. It's all for reasons. As long as we don't let the past sort of hold us back, or the past sort of dictate the lack of confidence or the reasons why we cannot do something, it's like learning and understanding what we've experienced so that we become smarter in the present moment. 9 of Wands. Yeah, this is the wounded warrior, and it could really symbolize somebody who's gone through quite the challenge, to get sort of to the finish line here. And it's like, we're right there. We're right there. So don't give up. Okay, keep going. You're right there. And if you feel like there's everything sort of against you, it's like you're being protected right now. So there might be a wall around whether you can, take the action at this exact time. But know that through your wisdom and through your experience and through the divine protection, you are in a position to win. You're in a position here to keep going. And look at this tiger, which looks very similar to this leopard. It does sort of symbolize this ferocious sort of energy. I'm also being drawn to, although in this book I do feel it symbolizes maybe passion in some way here, or desire. Let's read from this book. Sorry guys, I know this isn't the book of it, but I do want to see the tiger because I'm being called to read what the tiger energy is indicating here for you guys. And it isn't alphabetical, so it's about there. It's about here. Wow, okay. So, meaning carnal desires and opulence. Oh my goodness, and we have secret admirer. The regal tiger has inspired both awe and fear in humans across centuries. It's often admired and desired for its beautiful coat, fang-like teeth, and deadly claws. If you've ever been in the presence of a mighty tiger, it's easy to understand why. Everything about a tiger feels carnal, powerful, and full of desire. You too embody this eros if you pull this card in a reading. There's a hunger that exists within us all. What is it that fuels the beast inside? It may be a person, a place, a thing. If you feel this hunger churning, it's time to feed. Our passions can be an incredible primordial force of power that we can use to embrace deep fulfillment and pleasure. Alternatively, you may be in incredible flow of luxury and abundance. Regardless, something there is a deep, tangible pleasure calling out to you now. Initiate yourself into its mysteries. Look to the other cards around the tiger for clues. So, like I said, for a lot of you guys, you already have this passion. You already are pulled. Okay, there's a hunger here to move in this direction. And so if it comes with doubt, it could be, a doubt of, or if it comes with, I should say, like obstacles or things coming against us, it's really this protection from the divine. There's a need for us to make decisions, take action. We will succeed. And this peacock was really giving me this energy we just read of being seen. Being seen. And even this was pulling through because I do feel like this is going to put you in a higher sort of caliber here of energy, feeling whole, feeling very fulfilled. Okay, but there is a struggle or some things we're overcoming here and some challenges. So introspection of somatics. So the introspection, I do believe, is the Queen of Pentacles. I'm going to check just to make sure. But I do feel that introspection is Queen. So the Queen is all about intaking energy. Oops. Introspection. Six of somatics. Yeah, so curiosity is the page, experience is the knight, introspection is the queen, and integration is the king. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles. Beautiful. So this is really telling me, because I was getting Queen of Wands energy, but with the balance of the Queen of Pentacles, it's the perfect balance of really taking our passions and getting grounded and making it a reality in the 3D here. It's like stabilizing, and it's like bit by bit, being very connected in a practical way, being very safe as well. Because the Queen of Pentacles isn't going to take any crazy major risks, but I do feel like it's a safe move. And so maybe some of you guys are questioning, is this a safe move? Will I be financially protected? Yes. Because the passion is there, the desire, and all of that fire and hunger, but it is backed by this Queen of Pentacles, which is really grounding this thing and making it a very practical, in a financial, abundant way that you could rely on and create a future of stability here. Lots of confidence pulling through with this Queen of Semantics, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Spirit, what does pile number 3 need to know then about this question they asked? Number 4, it says sovereign structure. So 4 is the Emperor. Emperor right on top of this authority. Like I said, I was feeling Emperor. I was feeling Hierophant. I was also feeling the King of Swords. Okay, because this is all about being empowered to take action in a way that is very structured, but also this sovereign structure. It's like freeing you, because I feel like you might be very, you're in maybe a job already, or you're devoting yourself to something that's draining you. And maybe out of an obligation, thinking you have to stay there or you have to stay at that, I don't know, giving to something here that's draining you. And Spirit is saying there's something here that's more aligned to you, that gets to see your whole beauty, that's more going to pay you forward, that is rewarding, and it's worth fighting for. And it's going to require you to sort of go after it in a more sort of structured way here, but believe in yourself and have the confidence in yourself to drive towards this thing. But it's the fire that gets you sort of moving here. Okay, the passion. And so we have the curiosity of thoughts. This is the Page of Swords in reverse. So we don't understand or see clearly here. And then we have this Chariot of Direction in reverse. Okay. So it's becoming clearer what some of you guys might have asked here. And then we have the two of somatics. Sorry. Two of somatics. Okay. So this could talk about our finances sometimes even, you know, like we're not in a position or our resources, like we're strapped thin. And so it might be holding us back from a decision. I'm not in the financial position, or I can't choose this thing. Okay. And Spirit is really talking about you really truly being in a position to choose and go after this thing. If things get in your way, okay, it is because you're being protected here. But Spirit wants you to keep pressing forward, moving towards this, like not making excuses why you shouldn't or can't. Know that things will be diverted as they need to be diverted. You're not going to step on sort of a mouse trap here. Okay. Because I feel like what you don't see or understand is what's keeping you held back. I feel like you have, you don't see how you could be successful, or you don't see how you could ride through this thing in a balanced way just yet, financially, maybe because it's not there, or you don't see the thing in front of you. So it's like, I won't have success, or how will this pan out? Like, I don't understand, or I'm a novice in this field, or I'm not quite, like I don't understand it. It's still confusing. We don't see. And Spirit's saying you don't need to see the finished result. You just need to put one foot in front of the other. Okay, look at the mountain goat here. Okay, really talking about your ability to persevere and keep pressing forward despite anything that's in front of you, because you will overcome it and you will succeed. Okay, and this is what's creating this groundwork. This is really what's creating this freedom. Because I do really, really feel through here, your hands are tied, or you feel stuck to something and it's not fulfilling. This is going to be very freeing, very fulfilling. And we don't understand that just yet. And we don't see the success that we could have here. If we only knew the success, if we only knew how much balance this would bring into our world, then I think we would definitely be more charged to make moves. Okay, so yes, you're in a position to fight. Yes, you are more than worthy of having success in this field. Yes, your finances will be aligned, or resources will be aligned to make this decision. If there is something here that might compromise any part of you, it's like you're being protected from this. And Spirit really wants you to know that there is no feeling stuck to something else that you have to give to. That's just robbing you. It's robbing you of time. It's robbing you of time that you could be sort of aligned with this. And you will be seen as somebody here who's very accomplished and successful. Okay, but this isn't in an egoic way. This is someone who has put in the time, who has put in the effort, who is really understood in their field as someone who is, worthy of this success because of the dedication and the commitment that you've shown, and your passion and your desire in that field, because I feel like this really is exciting to you, It's like going to work and really enjoying what we do every day and not feeling like we're working. We feel free to make our own schedule or enjoy what we need to enjoy. And I do feel like you might be overcoming, like I said, for some of you guys, obstacles, but they're behind you. They're not going to get in your way. Everything you're made to overcome, Spirit is showing you're overcoming this. You're on a higher ground. And you have the experience with this elephant to overcome it, even if it's your first time sort of navigating through, because you might be saying, well, I've never done this, or I don't understand that fully. Spirit's saying you already have the experience within your tool belt here to overcome these things you don't know. And so you might be feeling stuck, or like you're not taking action just yet. And Spirit really wants you to start taking action, start moving towards this thing. Start investing in it because it will pay forward to you, okay? Pile number 3, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 4, you guys picked this key right here and this set of cards. We're looking at an answer to your question. Okay, I do ask that you go listen to the intro so you know how this will be pulled through. But we are taking this into context, okay? You can ask it however you want. Okay, it could be yes, no, or should I, or whatever sort of question, but it's going to come through here to have context to your question, okay? Rather than me just saying yes, because you might ask it in a way that someone else asks it different, but we're asking the same question. So take what resonates for you, but this should overall be the energy of your question. Okay, if it doesn't make any sense, then go check out another pile. So you could skip straight away, click on the timeline to get to your channeled message, but I will be doing the card layout, and this will give you an opportunity to tap into your intuition with my intuition and see what we have. So we have card 29 with the Ace of Spades. So this is the Ace of Swords. And in the Lenormand, this is the lady. Okay, the lady could signify you, could signify an important lady in your world, depending on their reading, which we'll see. But the Sword of Truth is all about clarity, certainty, seeing something clearly or understanding something, having a new beginning, potentially through adversity. We have a new understanding. Okay, 29. Or the number 11. 11 is a master number, divine inspiration, synchronicities, and the encouragement to keep going. So we have the revolving door. Oh my goodness, I just got, I don't generally channel a smell, but I got a smell of cigar and old building. You know, like a really old building that you can walk through downtown. The revolving door, okay. And we have judication, number 30, or the number 3. 2930. So we have succession. Judication could be like the justice card here. Could be a court, something official. You know, could be spiritual court. Could be official court. The Libra energy. And we have 43, or the number 7. And we have the gravestone. So sometimes I get 5 cups from this because at a graveyard we're sad. But it could be the death of something, the release of something. And we see a glimmer of hope here with the sun coming out. Okay, and then we have enemy. Now don't take words literally, okay? It's going to be what I channel here, but an enemy could be something against our plan, someone against our plan, maybe someone not aligned with us. We could be our biggest enemy. We see a tree. Tree is all about stability and security here in the background. Enemy. Okay, and then we have rigidity with 55. 55 is a master number. 55 is change is the only constant. It's about divinely orchestrated change, which we have 11, which is divine. So something creating some form of change, revolving door. Mental tendency with stress level, rigidity, stiff upper lip, harshness, OCD, austerity, inflexibility, intolerance. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Okay. We have status, number 2. 2 is about balance, duality, and choices. So here we have Jupiter and Taurus. Status. Seeing 2 people here. I'm getting Gemini energy as well. Jupiter is the ruling planet for Sagittarius and Pisces. 2 people and a crown. Okay, 2 people. 1 enemy. Okay, and then we have risk. Look at this key, you guys. This is looking a lot like, I do feel it's pile number 1. Kind of. With the hole in it. Some of you guys could have been called to pile 1. because I do feel is the only one that had a hole here. If you recalled, of course, keys are about knowledge, information, or like opening a new phase. So it says risk. So we have Saturn and Aries. Saturn's the ruling planet for Capricorn and Aquarius. I'm getting really pulled into this sort of bear, looking at this fool-like character. So Fool is beginning in the tarot. We have a 1, which talks about beginnings. Yeah, Aquarius energy really pulling through. A bear could be symbolic of Aries energy. Okay, because the bear could be the boss, could be someone who's overbearing, could even be protective. Does look like a bear. I have another tree and 3 pentacles. So trees talk about stability. 3 pentacles could be about cooperation. Cooperation in stabilizing something potentially, because remember we're seeing the tree here, but here we have an enemy. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like a piece of pizza strapped to a piggy bank. And that's probably not what it is, but that's what it looks like to me. If you can see that, let me see. Can you see? Like, what is that? Weird. All right. We have more Saturn energy with Cancer and Charity. Number 4. So 4 is Emperor energy, but that's about structure, foundations, stability, and planning, which I was really feeling with the tree. Even this palm tree is all about flexibility, but stabilizing something. You see the angels and the harp. Charity. Okay, and then we have the seahorse. So some seahorses mate for life. We'll see what the seahorse is about. We might read from the book here. Okay, so it says a breakthrough. Wow, 11 again. So we have 11, 11. So it's definitely something divinely guided here. A breakthrough, feeling 8 wands energy. Okay, and then we have 42 with the truth. Yes, we are feeling the truth with the Ace of Swords. The truth, the Cherokee talking stick tradition. So when we hold the talking stick, it's our turn to talk. It's our turn to communicate something, express something, our turn to be heard. Or maybe we weren't being understood or heard because someone might have been hogging the airtime. 42, or the number 6. 6 is lovers, is about a choice. We have 2 right here. So more Gemini energy coming through. And we have yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. Okay, and then we have porcupine, trust, open-hearted vulnerability. So the porcupine can sometimes even talk about our ancestors, like our history or traditions, but sometimes it's even, us maybe being defensive or defense mechanisms in some way, protective. Trust, open-hearted vulnerability. And sometimes our defense mechanism could be something that we've been conditioned. It says ancestor, but that could be just metaphorical for the conditioning over time that's created this sort of prickly energy. Porcupine, trust, open-hearted vulnerability. Okay, I do feel we are going to read the seahorse, and yeah, you guys can definitely skip ahead if you don't want to hear, but I do feel this is going to help me to channel what we are needing to know for your answer to your question. Okay, so the seahorse says healing ancestral and collective trauma. Oh my goodness, did we not just pick that up from this porcupine? Seahorse has distinct appearance with a horse-like head and curled tail and a slender body. As aquatic creatures with distinct appearance. They are deeply connected to water and emotions. They inspire us to navigate our feelings with grace and sensitivity, embracing our emotional well-being. The seahorse's color-changing ability highlights the innate emotional and spiritual adaptability within us all. When caught in a cycle of repeating mistakes, revolving door, call upon the seahorse spirit to break free from this pattern. The seahorse can assist in bringing awareness to your behaviors and thought patterns, allowing you to make conscious choices that steer you away from attracting the same situations and people into your life. By connecting with the energy of the seahorse, you can embark on a journey of self-transformation and personal growth. The seahorse also holds the power to facilitate healing from deep-rooted trauma and release any burdens passed down through your ancestral lineage. By engaging with the seahorse's energy, you can initiate a healing process that benefits you and contributes to the recovery of your family lines. Remember that healing these generational wounds are not always easy. With time, patience, and right support, it can be achieved. When you come out the other side, your world will be filled with clarity, truth. Ace of Swords, all about clarity. This healing has a ripple effect, influencing the collective consciousness and assisting in integrating the collective shadow into the light. The seahorse enables you to gain a comprehensive perspective on situations by attuning to your emotions and the emotions of others involved. This heightened awareness brings clarity and fosters healing for all parties involved. Through the guidance of the seahorse, you can navigate the complexities of relationships and situations with empathy and understanding. Ultimately, the seahorse reminds you that you possess the power to be your savior, the hero of your life story. The ability to heal and transform resides within you. While guidance and support from the others can be beneficial, you have the inherent strength to overcome challenges and cultivate your healing journey. Embrace the guidance of the seahorse as a valuable companion on your path to self-discovery and personal empowerment. Your healing impacts and rewards all those who surround you. Okay, let me sit here with this energy. Beautiful pile number 4. Okay, pile number 4. This definitely could be your energy here. Okay. It could definitely be somebody you're dealing with. Although I do feel for a lot of you guys, it's your energy and you might not think it is. And you might think it's someone else. Okay. That's what this type of energy is all about. And the sooner we realize it's us, the sooner we heal. Okay. So this energy that I'm really tied into isn't experiencing anything that's sort of enjoyable here. Especially it could be dealing with a situation or circumstance here where things aren't jiving. They don't feel fair. Okay? They don't feel fair. And Spirit is really talking about you having the power here in order to create your way through breaking through cycles which really have a hold of you right now. And it's causing a lot of pain. Okay, so I feel like we're really sort of trapped. And when we're trapped, we're not really trapped, okay, but we're only as trapped as we allow things to progress. And so I feel like by not making any headway, changes, or healing certain things, we're going to repeat cycles. So I feel like something's repeating in your world that you don't like, an experience with someone or something. It needs to heal and be put behind you. We might be feeling like it's them against us or the world against us, or I'm like on the outs of something here. Because I do feel like your intention is to create something of value, structure, stability, okay, with something here. But I feel like we're experiencing the opposite, because I do feel like there's an energy within you that is a little bit creating the resistance or the aggression or the defensiveness that is actually not needed in this situation. So Spirit's really talking about when you get empowered, people around you get empowered. When you start to see clearly and speak truths, this situation will be clear and will make more sense. And you'll break free from patterns here. Because I feel like we're doing like a tit for tat and we're being a little bit inflexible. Remember, I was seeing this palm tree, which talks about flexibility, and here we're seeing inflexibility. I feel like there's a right or wrong, me versus them type mental attitude here. And I feel like Spirit's saying, if we want to have this breakthrough, no, Spirit's saying, if we want to experience something different, we have to have the breakthrough. And the breakthrough happens with seeing clearly and speaking truths. Now, I think this is where we might be confused. We might think speaking our truth is speaking how we're feeling in the moment. So when we're defensive and hurt and angry or feeling a certain way, we speak our truth. It is the truth, therefore I'll speak it. No, that's our pain talking. That's the ancestral wound talking. We need to understand what is going on within ourselves that we need to release. So if we're feeling any restriction, unhappiness, disappointment, let down, anything that we would consider more negative energy. Okay, this is Spirit's way of telling you that there is some trauma, some unhealed pattern within you, your thought process, or the way you engage or attach to your understanding of yourself or something that isn't accurate. And it's creating the suffering here. And so there's a need to integrate this shadowy part of self in order for you to find the balance and the harmony in a situation, which can work to your favor. So if you keep experiencing being let down, if you keep experiencing the same thing, people disappointing you, the same types of people, the same experience with the same person, or a situation that doesn't seem to let you go, there's something karmic here that you're breaking through, but you're needing to really understand it on a soul level so you could put it behind you and make peace with that. And so I do feel like there is some form of duality here, and it could be even the way we see ourselves in the world with other people, rather than us being sort of connected to everyone and everything. And everything has, every action has a reaction. Every action has a consequence. Then we start to get very in tune with what we say and do. If we're too focused on what the other people are out there is doing and acting, we're not paying attention to what we're supposed to look at. What we're supposed to look at is our own actions, our own words, our own intentions. Because I feel like what you're putting out into the world is what's creating this. And at first blush, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to be the victim and say, well, don't victim blame, because, we might want to support that other people are the cause of our suffering or that it's unjust. Meanwhile, Spirit is really saying, no, the reason it's unjust is because we're the ones putting that energy out into the universe. And so we're reaping the reward of it. So I feel like we're taking a passive approach towards getting clear with the truth. And I mean truth with a capital T, not our perceived experience, not our distorted traumas and conditioning, but the truth as it really truly is. And the only way we could really see it is if we detach from our understandings and detach from the victim story and detach from the unhealthy ways that we cope and be defensive and block people out or get sort of under the mindset that we're right, they're wrong, or that, if we feel like there's, what's the right word here? That what we have to say is the truth and what everyone else has to say is sort of what's just their opinion and it's not right, then we're not seeing it right. Because Spirit is really saying everything is sort of true from its own relative perspective. And so what you have to say and what you think is equally as valid as someone else's. But there's an even greater truth, which is the absolute truth of the universe. And so we have to be very egoic to think that we're right and they're wrong, or that my truth is what really is the thing and everyone else is sort of, it's their projection. No. And so this is what we're needing to really see here. And so what's the answer to your question? Your answer to your question is to get clear, to be able to have a new beginning in truth. We have to break a cycle and we have to see it. And where it lies is within yourself. Okay? There's something within yourself. And if you're experiencing someone like this, and then Spirit is saying it's mirroring back to you yourself, because you don't just manifest someone like this unless you yourself are putting that out into the world. So either way, this kicks back to you. And so I feel like we're doing like a tiered system. It's me and I'm right, or me and my understanding is ethical or moral or more just or more integral. And this other person is unhealed or damaged or not right or is suffering and it's their problem. No, that's actually not right. Both of you guys are sort of at the same level of needing to release. And I feel like Spirit is really talking about the more you experience the same situation, the more Spirit is highlighting to you, the more ingrained this thing that you need to release is within yourself. Okay, I'll say that again. If we have an unhealthy thought or some way that we defend ourselves and we haven't seen through it yet, then we keep repeating the same choices and the same things in our experience that gets the same results. It's from a place of protection. We might not see it as protection. We might think we're very open. We might think we're very involved. We might think we're a whole bunch of things, but that's the problem is we think we have an opinion of who we are that is actually not accurate. And so to have this breakthrough, there needs to be a different way of communicating a truth, of seeing a truth, of having a new beginning that is like this fool that comes without any baggage. Because right now I feel like we might be dealing with people who are very stubborn and fixed because we're very stubborn and fixed. And so the only way to find a solution, a key, is to work together. Okay, not we need to work together, therefore this person needs to show up correctly. No. We need to work together, therefore how can I work? How can I find a way? How can I find the answer to work with this person? Because Spirit's saying there is a way to work with this person or the situation within you. You have the key to collaboration. You have the answer, but you're not seeing it or pulling it from within you. Therefore, you keep experiencing difficulty and challenge with someone who might be overbearing, someone who might be aggressive, someone who might make you feel very stuck and tied down or frustrated. So there's a lot of harshness. There's a lot of, like with enemy, like this feels very difficult, tumultuous, enemy, harsh, stiff, upper lip, intolerance, porcupine. Like it's difficult here when we are dealing with this, but how do we depolarize this energy? We have to give to it with this charity. And we might think it's taking a risk. I don't want someone to take my kindness for weakness. And Spirit's saying, no, that's not how it works. When we're kind, when we act from a place of diffusing situations, we depolarize that to negative energy. So when something is, again, energy, I'm not talking about good or bad at all. So there is no good or bad. There's just the polarization of energy. There's the negative, just like you would talk about like, a battery, the negative and the positive side. There's not a good side and a bad side to the battery. It's just the negative polarization and the positive. And so if we are experiencing the negative polarity of something, in order to diffuse that, we don't add more negativity to it, more anger, more defensiveness, more butting heads against it, because that negativity, the negative side, the negative polarity grows. How do we depolarize the negative polarity? We infuse it with positivity. We infuse it with love. We infuse it with caring, compassion. So we have to release resentments, anger, and if it's not that, opinions, justifications, ideas that we're right, what needs to be and how it needs to be. We've already judged something. We've made a decision based on an understanding, and Spirit's saying it's not right. It's our own perception of what we think is right. And we're creating this enemy in this world. And we keep perpetuating this sort of dynamic. They're still wrong. They still haven't apologized. I'm still in the good. No, that's not actually true. You're experiencing life, and same with this person, and it's all about energy and karma. And so what we're having to release is the energy of the attachment we have to an understanding that isn't actually truthful or clear in regards to being aligned with what is the absolute truth. It is a figment of our conditioning. We had an experience in the past with this person or as a child or wherever that now created this story that we hang on to. And we might be waiting to receive something, and it's not coming. Okay, so for those of you guys waiting for, I don't know, someone to come correctly or something to iron out, waiting for something to be decided, waiting for someone to get it right. No, they're not. It's not going to happen. You're stuck because you're being called to look at yourself. You're being called to undo this thought process. You're being called to put it down. Because there's a conditioned belief here that you have that is baggage. And it's baggage because you have a preconceived understanding of some opinion that's casting judgment. Break through, break out of this, and you'll have a shift in the situation. Stay in that, and you'll completely keep repeating the same thing you're experiencing now. Waiting, arguments, potentially defensiveness, somebody not coming correctly, thinking we're in a different sort of state than somebody else. Meanwhile, we're not. Okay, so let's see. Spirit, for pile number 4. What is this message about? So we have Emperor energy here with Sovereign's structure, Aries energy. Pile number 4, what is the answer to their question? So the Emperor energy is all about getting empowered, creating our own structure. Okay, that's Divine Masculine energy. Pile number 4. What do they need to know here? 9 of thoughts. That's the 9 swords. Anxiety. And we have the Ace of Spirits in reverse, which is the Ace of Wands. And look at this toad. So definitely could be talking about a need for release and healing. Something that we're hanging on to, that we need to cleanse. Okay, so in order for there to be a new beginning here. So why is this Emperor here, Spirit? Why is the Emperor here with Sovereign structure? We have the 3 of Pentacles, which we were feeling from this tree, like I said, during the card layout. Collaboration, working together, but we have to be sort of on the same page here. And this isn't, they're not on the page of me. It's, I got to get on that page. And we get on that page by dismantling what it isn't. We don't go and say, yeah, I'm going to agree with this person's twisted view or whatever, because we can't just change our mind. But we have to undo certain things that we believe to be true that actually are not. It's getting in the way of a collaboration. It's getting in the way of something coming together here. Okay, and I feel you have a lot of anxiety around this, but you're giving into your thoughts and creating all sorts of stories that are not necessarily what's accurate here. And so why is this 9 of Swords here? We have the experience of semantics. So this is the Knight of Pentacles, and he is in reverse. So something stuck. Why is this Ace of Wands here in reverse? And we have the Starlight of Hope, which is the star energy, Aquarius, in reverse. Okay, and then we have the Wheel of Optimism, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Under that, we have the experience of feelings. Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay. So, beautiful people, something's being divinely guided. This Wheel of Fortune is talking about this revolving door. Okay, karmas. We experience cyclical things until we understand it, or we just keep repeating. It could be with the same people, the same situations, or different people, but the same experiences until we learn. Okay, whatever's going on in your world, I think there's a pause, there's a break, or there's something not manifesting. Someone's either not taking action. Okay, these nights talk about how we take action on something, how we express how we feel, or how we manifest and move forward. There's a block here in this breakthrough of this movement of creation. Okay, and we might really see that someone or some situation is the enemy or out there and it's what's stuck, and Spirit saying, no, you're the one stuck. Because we really need to understand our thought process. The thought process, when we're in the thought, we can't understand it because we're using the mind to debunk the mind. It doesn't work like this. So we have to, one, understand that we are in the mind. And then we have to listen to the stories that we're telling ourselves and understand that there's no truth to these stories. They're just conditioned, programmed defense mechanisms and beliefs we have that trigger certain reactions from us. And as long as we keep thinking we're the mind, as long as we believe those stories, we start reacting and responding, and then we get the same results constantly over and over and over again. People not cooperating, people stuck. So what is Spirit saying? Listen to your mind story. You have the power to get empowered here to do this. Someone else isn't going to all of a sudden do something opposite from this reality. Okay, because you're projecting out into the world with the karmic energy, this experience. And so Spirit says, if you want to experience something different, have a breakthrough that's different, you have to get empowered and get in front of your own thoughts. Okay, and so then we can experience a new beginning. But it would require us shedding, healing, and releasing and cleansing things here that I feel have created suffering or have created the story that we're still believing to be true. So I feel like you're losing a lot of hope, and you might have lost faith in where this partnership or this situation could build. And Spirit is saying there could be a working together and a building and a manifestation that you're losing hope and not seeing, and only because the power is in your hands to do something in regards to releasing the mind story so that you can become clear. And then things will spark up, and then things will move, and then there'll be a new beginning, and then you can, have your wish. But your future is stunted with whatever it is that you're wanting, what you say you're wanting here. And it's put out because there's a big block here. Okay? And so all we're doing is seeing through the blocks of ourself, understanding our own limitations based on our own walls that we put up and our own beliefs that we're still attached to and the things you're still identifying with. This is what needs to be put behind you. And once you do this, Spirit says this situation will turn. Things will become better. You will start to work and manifest and find things flow and feel very empowered and not feel stuck or like you're waiting or frustrated by someone else's behaviors. The only way we'd ever be frustrated is when we feel an aversion to someone or something. And when we do that, it's because we still have some unhealed part of our subconscious, some trauma, some part of self that needs to be explored. When we're indifferent, we feel no anger, we feel no nothing. And there goes my email confirming. There's no need for boundaries. There's no need to block anyone. There's no need to do anything because we're indifferent. We've healed. We've released. Okay? If we still feel guarded, if we still feel tentative, if we still feel defensive, if we still feel anxious, that means that's the part we need to look at. It's an unhealed part that needs to be released and looked at. It's what keeps us chained and stuck to repeat experiences, people, places, things. It will forever sit there. You have to proactively release. You have to proactively look at your thoughts. You have to proactively detach from that story. You do this. The experience doesn't change automatically to make you see this. You have to see this yourself. or else you just remain experiencing the same thing and losing hope losing hope that this person will come around, losing hope in the manifestation, losing hope that things would get better. So there's no need to lose hope. There's just focusing on what's in our power, and what's in our power is to call and debunk all of these stories and these thoughts that we're attached to of why we need to protect ourselves, or why we need to block someone out, or why we need to guard against. Okay, and so this doesn't mean allowing people again to treat us bad or be a doormat or revolving door. No, you got to find the balance in this. It's not about that, because we could be strong and in our power and say no, and not need to block and not be triggered and anxious and feel resentments and all of that. It doesn't come with heavy energy. It just comes with yes, no, from the heart space, creating structure, creating order, not these anxious pulls that we have and feeling bound and stuck or frustrated. That's all ego. And ego just means you have an attachment to a story. Okay, and here we have the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And so I feel like there's a need to balance this within ourselves and cleanse and heal what is distorted in both of those energy fields so that we can work together. Not what can this person do, not why is this person not showing up correctly, but what it is that I can do. Because right now there's a block here. Okay, and things turning for the better, like I said. So pile number 4, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Gorgeous angels, pile number 5. 5 piles today. Wow. So you guys picked this key right here and this group of cards. We're going to take a look at the answer to your question. You can ask it in any way you want, yes, no, or in detail, whatever you want to hear. And it will come through within context to what you're asking, okay? So you'll need to sort of fit it into what you're asking about, but don't like force the messages to fit your story. If it's not the energy overall to your question, then it's most likely not your pile. You can go check out another pile, okay? So I'll do my best to sort of describe what this is talking about so that we can give you an answer to your question. So we're going to do the card layout here, and this is the best way for you to tap into your intuition, is to sit through this card layout. But if you want to go straight away to the channeling, you can do so, and I will put a timestamp below. Let's take a look. So we have card 20, and this is the 8 of spades. So 8 spades is 8 swords. Okay, 8 swords could definitely talk about like a mind limitation that we have in regards to a thought that holds us back, or we don't see a way forward because of some excuse or some reason that might not necessarily be the truth. Okay, this is the garden card in the Lenormand. The garden could talk about an event, a party, a social outing, a community even. Okay, so 20 or the number 2. And then we have number 12 or number 3, and we have the 7 of diamonds. So that's 7 pentacles. 7 pentacles is about the maintenance of something, where we're energetically sort of nurturing something to manifest. And we see the birds here, and birds talk about communication. Birds could talk about gossip. Birds could be siblings in the Lenormand. Okay, so we see two birds, and then we see another 2 here. 2s are all about balance, duality, and choices. 2 could be high priestess energy, which is Pisces. That's all about the intuition. Let's take a look in here. We see a nice, beautiful big nest. Okay, and 12 is Pisces hangman energy. So I need to maybe change how we see something, or become more enlightened in regards to our view. Maybe something is on pause or suspended. Let's see. So we have this ashtray full of cigarette butts. So maybe something is on pause, taking some time, because normally when we smoke a bunch of cigarettes here, we're waiting on something. Burning time, waiting for something, or waiting on someone, or some form of communication. Okay, and then we have the coffin, number 19. So 19 is sun energy. Sun is Leo. Sun could be clarity. So maybe we're waiting for some clarity on something. Coffin is talking about an ending. Maybe getting closure on something, or closure on an ending, or clarity about why something ended or how something ended. Yeah, Coffin's release, death, Scorpio energy, Leo energy with the Sun, and then we have 21 with this lady. So interesting, we have 12 and 21. We have mirrored numbers. The lady could represent you or someone in your world, but it is representing the divine feminine energy. Okay, and then we have young woman. Look at this. Young woman twice. So something significant about divine feminine energy. This talks about young woman. So it's young, inexperienced, maybe younger in age. We'll see. Could just be someone who's not matured, maybe in an area of feminine energy. We have feeling unloved, number 11. So 11 is master number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. It says basic fear, ego level, feeling unloved, feeling unessential, feeling rejected, separation, indifference, feeling isolated, feeling abandoned. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. So here we have another number 2, which we were really picking through with the 2s here. So red is root chakra. We have restlessness. Okay, and we have Mercury and Aries. So Mercury could be kicking it back to these birds, because Mercury is the ruling planet for communication. It's magician energy. So Virgo, Gemini. Aries is about empowerment, is divine masculine. And here we have the number 1. So 1's about new beginnings, potential opportunity. It's also magician energy, which we were feeling from Mercury. Restlessness. And we have practicality. Moon and Capricorn. So moon is Cancer, Pisces. And we have a 10. 10 is about completions and ends of cycles. We have the coffin here. Transformation. And so we have some Scorpio energy pulling through as well. And practicality. So practicality gives me earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And look at this garden and this garden. Someone working in the garden. Now, is it a literal garden? Are we cultivating something, maintaining something here? Okay, and we have octopus. Wow. Take a look at that. Octopus. So an octopus is fairly intellectual, might be more mind than heart. It might be somebody, prioritizing many different things, potentially. And then we have the horse, and this is a white horse. So horses talk about empowerment. We measure things in horsepower. It's like the power that we have to make choices, decisions, or move in certain ways. And white is the authentic self, the pure self, to free ourselves, to liberate ourselves. There's an independence here. Okay, and then we have the rebel. Look at that, number 4. So the rebel bucks convention, does its own thing. Remember, we were feeling this horse was independent. It could be a wild horse, need for freedom, need to rebel against the system, do the opposite of maybe what we were expected to do. 4 again, which is emperor. I don't know why I said again, but that's divine masculine energy. And we have schizophrenia with number 2. So this is about how our mind thinks, and we might start to see or hear things that don't necessarily exist. Okay, but again, a 2, lots of 2s. Again, 2's about balance, duality, and choices. And here we have grounded. 17. So 17 is star energy. And that's all about our future vision for what we want. And this says Uluru, Australia. Grounded. So getting grounded, getting secure, and we have Turkey. Someone is behaving stupidly. Oh my goodness. So turkeys could talk about having gratitude. Someone is behaving stupidly. So we're not going to take words literally. We have desk. Pay attention to your work. So a desk, it has 4 legs. It could definitely be emperor energy, the stability, the security of something. But the desk is the working, maintenance. Yeah. The efforts. And look at these feather pens. So I'm getting 2 again. Communication. Feathers could be signs from the divine, from our ancestors that we're on the right path, which you are getting with the number 11 here. Okay, and then we have camel, active inner cosmos. Inner cosmos. So the camel could talk about endurance and maybe, like trying to get somewhere and it's being without resources or being a long period of time. We might be harboring a lot of emotions that are withheld here because the camel holds the water in its hump. The inner cosmos, as within, so without, and we have a lot of that magician energy, which would definitely indicate that sort of energy. So interesting. Let me tap into what this answer is to your question here, beautiful angels, and get to what it's telling you. Okay. I do feel, let's take a look at this octopus here and see what Spirit wants to talk about the octopus. It says, flexible problem solving. Octopuses are characterized by their soft bodies, bulbous heads, and 8 long tentacles. Each arm has suckers that help them navigate and manipulate objects. They lack a skeleton and can squeeze through small openings due to their remarkable flexibility. Octopuses possess an exceptional ability to change their color, allowing them to merge seamlessly into their environment. They symbolize flexibility and creative solutions. Call upon Octopus when you feel stuck in a jam. Octopus can help you squeeze your way out of a situation by finding creative solutions that meet your needs. With flow and flexibility, the octopus reminds us that there is usually more than one solution to a problem. We need to be flexible in our approach to finding it. With open awareness and multifaceted approach, we can gain momentum when we dare to face a challenge head on. We remain stuck when we become overly focused on things having to be a certain way. You are a complex human being with layers of depth. Octopus reminds us that you can adapt. Hiding from our challenges may feel like flying under the radar. But when we are camouflaging ourselves from growth, only hindering our potential. Sometimes it is our best interest to remain out of sight and fly under the radar, but in most cases it is only a short time before we are noticed. Octopus reminds you not to shelter yourself from the beautiful potential within you. There are multiple ways to achieve what you need. You are a mystical being capable of attaining your desires. You have a heightened sense of awareness that allows you to notice solutions, tap into your creative resources with curiosity and intrigue. Often the unknown and unseen aspects encourage us to explore the depths of the mysteries of life and emerge with innovation. Remain open to exploring the depths of your emotions, thoughts, and experiences and see what happens. Okay. Okay. Beautiful pile number 5. I do feel your energy pulling through here now. Like I always mention, it could be energy around you. You don't got to own this energy if it's not you, okay? But I feel like Spirit's really talking about how you're feeling versus what's manifesting in front of you. And I feel like whatever you're trying to manifest and cultivate is taking a lot of energy from you and a lot of time. And at times we could start to lose patience and we could start to get frustrated. Okay. So it's really up to us how we see and work with solutions on this path, because I do feel like you're on the path of something, and it is the path of cultivating and really nurturing something into manifestation that might be very draining or might be taking a lot of time. And so if we take the position of, I've been here forever and it's not getting anywhere, and I'm sort of, clinging to what I think needs to happen, then I start to get discouraged and energy starts to shift in a way here that doesn't allow there to be a flow in a way that is flexible enough for things to shift and change. Your situation is one that requires a lot of, like the octopus talked about, having flexible mindset. Okay, so we could perceive an experience in one way and feel a way that doesn't feel good based on our perception of what we're experiencing. And so this doesn't mean that we might not feel let down or unloved or separated. Okay, this is very real how we feel. But what Spirit is saying, what you can control is the mind or the story that makes you feel in this way. Because there's something that we could either say is true and feel more isolated and feel more let down and feel more unloved and feel more separated, okay, and isolated. Or we could say, I'm having these mind stories that are running through my head and I'm going to address them. And I'm going to take the time to change the way my brain is firing off here so that I could start to engage differently. Because I feel like there's another pile that was similar to yours, but I feel like your situation requires cooperation from you because there is other factor involved, another energy, either another person or your situation that requires you to be flexible with it in order for there to be progress, in order for there to be something moving. And it might seem that you and this other energy aren't creating the manifestation, because it could certainly be that this person is doing everything in their power to buck against the manifestation. Okay, and so Spirit is bringing through a lot of different sort of aspects here. One, some of you guys might be dealing with someone like this, or it might be part of your own challenge, is remaining grounded in not getting lost in the thought stories, because there could be a lot of unpredictable sort of things that come through as beliefs, stories, identities, or we start to sort of get lost in our own mind about what it could be, what it could mean, where it could go. And then we start to act as though that's real and create more tension and anxiety. Okay, so we need to keep it sort of real. Okay, and when I say real, I mean like not get lost in the mind of what something could potentially be, if it's threatening or what we're experiencing somewhere in the 5D. Okay, so the 5D is definitely happening. Okay, but we cannot sort of get lost in some 5D space and then expect the 3D to be a different way. Okay, we gotta keep it real. We gotta get grounded in the 3D and know when we're in the 5D and know when we're in the 3D. Okay, now for some of you guys, you could definitely be dealing with someone here who we haven't been able to sort of pierce through their world. Okay, and I do feel like there's a need to connect to the feminine energy here, and the feminine energy is being open and receptive. And if we're not healthy when it comes to how we engage in the divine feminine energy, we could definitely sort of rebel and we could lean into the opposite energy, which creates opposite results. And so if this isn't you, and it's someone you're dealing with here like this, then it's like knowing this, knowing that this is happening is half the battle. We can observe this, we can identify, and we can engage sort of differently here. So there's a lot of aspects here that are dying off, if you will. Okay, and the reason they're dying off or being released is because they need to sort of be put behind us in order for there to be clarity, in order for there to be an enlightened perspective about how to work together or how to manifest something here that is going to need a lot of nurturing. And so we might feel very, very restless, like it's out of our control, or like some, other entity is sort of off rogue. And although you are right, there is another entity sort of going rogue. Spirit's really talking about you sort of putting it back on what you're capable of doing. Okay, like really getting back to your own sense of self that is not contaminated with ego or not contaminated with attachment stories or mind stories that create confusion. And if you are experiencing in the 3D someone who is going rogue or somebody who is like this as someone behaving stupidly, it's just they're acting in a way that isn't nurturing. Okay, this is to allow ourselves to give space, because love gives space, and accepting and understanding that this person is putting to bed or releasing certain aspects of themselves, certain mind stories, in order for them to explore and understand themselves, which has absolutely nothing to do with your own sort of journey. Okay, so this would be being very grounded, because sometimes when we're enmeshed energetically with situations, it's hard to know what's our energy and people we're dealing with. But when we're grounded, it's clear we know what our energy is and where we have sort of agency over ourselves to do certain things. But when we feel really like enmeshed or immersed in someone else's energy, we start to feel sort of all over the place here. Okay, so there's a need to remain grounded and practical in regards to your own energy and what you're capable of working on in the 3D world. And I do feel there's a sense of restlessness here, and like you've been on this path and there seems to be a long time with nothing, and Spirit's like showing, yes, there is something here to be manifested. Yes, this is something here that's going to be created, but it needs to be nurtured in the proper way in order for it to blossom or bloom. And we're still sort of in the early stages here of understanding. And so we could choose to get frustrated and focus on what's not working, or we could start to get very creative in regards to how we're going to adapt to every situation that unfolds. Because I feel like your situation requires a lot of being in flow state, not being attached to outcome, not being attached to stories of the past. It really requires you to be flexible within the moment and what you're experiencing. Okay, but if we get too stuck and fixed, waiting for an outcome or seeing something in a way we want to see it, then we start to feel restless. Then we start to feel in love. Then we start to feel not good. And I feel like your answer to your question here is there something viable here? Yes. And it needs to be nurtured. And there's lots to be explored. And yes, you could certainly be dealing with somebody or a situation here that is going through having to sort through itself, that has nothing to do with you interjecting and everything to do with you sort of getting grounded and focusing on your own homework. So what is your homework? Your homework is about staying grounded, getting empowered, and finding your pure self that isn't encumbered by shadow, ego, and stories that are driven from fear, that are in an energy here of divine feminine, which is working with the universe to go in flow state, not force our way or will, and close out anything here that is not helping us in regards to being flexible. Okay, so this is a journey of enlightenment and clarity. And I feel like maybe you want certain clarity, you want information, you want communication, you want manifestation, you want this thing to be functioning. And Spirit is saying the only way to get there is through nurturing and doing what you're in a position to do, which is really being flexible. That's all you really need to be aware of. This will build to something that then the garden will come to fruition. And throughout this process, you're becoming more pure, more free, more independent. Okay. And at periods of time, we feel like we go through feeling unloved or separated here. And this is just a figment of the ego. This is the root chakra. I need to feel safe. And Spirit is saying we make ourselves feel safe. We are the ones that can choose to feel unloved. We are the ones that can choose to feel however we feel. It's not dictated by circumstances or other people. And this is the thing that we're sort of navigating through. And so let's see what Spirit wants to communicate here in regards to the tarot. But I do feel like this is a lot of inner work, a lot of seeing clearly through conscious eyes, not through the mind or through stories that are sort of made up of constructs and beliefs. Spirit, for pile number 5, in regards to the answer to their question, what do they need to know? What am I missing here? What's their question? Or what's their answer to their question, I should say? In a clear and concise way, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. For the greatest and highest good of pile number 5, what is the answer to their question? Thank you, Spirit, for this answer. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. For the greatest and highest good of pile 5, what are they needing to know? Oh, I don't know why I flipped that one. 6 of Cups. 6 of Feelings. So that is the card of reconciliation. That's a person, place, thing of the past. Soulmates. Okay. Your childhood. You see the cat. The cats talk about independence right over this horse, which could also be talking about independence, freedom. We have the rebel. So you could be dealing with somebody here who's unruly, who wants to be free, who wants to roam, who wants to, which they definitely are able to do this, but there's a need to understand how to work together. Because being free doesn't mean we don't know how to collaborate and work together. And so there might be an unhealthy attachment to independence and freedom here that's pulling through. So we have the 4 of Thoughts. That's the 4 swords. That's healing and reflection. The beautiful fawn, deer. And we have the 8 of Cups in reverse with the wolves. And we have the experience of feelings. So this is the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. And we have the Hermit's Serenity, number 9. This is all about this activate inner cosmos. So Virgo energy, the Hermit. And we have the 10 of Spirit, which is 10 wands in reverse. And we have the 10 of Feelings, which is 10 cups. And look at this beautiful giraffes. And the giraffes are hugging each other here. 10 cups. I don't know if I said 10 wands. So we have 2 10s. 10s are about completions and ends of cycles, transformation. 10 is also Sun, which we're feeling from 19, which is all about enlightenment and consciousness. Okay. So, and there we have 2 swords and it is in reverse. Okay. A lot of you guys are asking in regards to a situation or circumstance that isn't manifesting, like I said. And I feel like Spirit is really talking about it doesn't manifest until all the healing is sort of done here. There's a need to reflect and heal. And we're still with this fawn, early stages, okay? And it could be dealing with the early development here of emotions that are needing to get looked at and heal and be understood. Okay, and if this isn't you, if you're dealing with a situation or a someone This is definitely something that could be reflected and mirrored for both sides. We have 21 and 12, which I said in the card layout was some mirroring happening here. Okay, so an inner child healing or an understanding of something that might be trapped in the emotional body that needs to be understood by us. This is a self journey. The Spirit's really talking about self and slowing down in order to really understand this. This is why things are stuck and not moving. Not to torture you, not to create suffering, but to create enlightenment and a higher perspective of how we see things and see ourselves in situations. So where is this bringing you to? It's bringing you to a 10 cups. Ultimate emotional fulfillment with another. This is the happily ever after. Okay, so some of you guys asked about, will this pan out in a happily ever after? Yes, but it only pans out in the happily ever after once we complete this cycle and once we put down the 10 wands of burden. And this 10 wands of burden could symbolize a whole lot of things. Stories and beliefs. This could symbolize parts of our world that we're emotionally attached to, that we have a hard time walking away from, putting up with situations that are emotionally not good for us, feeling stuck, and really understanding this about ourselves, that we're not stuck, that we're not needing to put up with any situation that makes us feel unloved or emotionally depleted. Okay, because I feel like there's a understanding of what makes us happy and a real connecting to it and a spiritual understanding of self so that we could put down the weight we're carrying. Okay, I'm also getting ego. I don't normally from the 10 wands. And you guys are like, probably you've been here saying, yeah, Linda, you get ego from every card. But really I am getting, because wands do talk about the ego. And so it's like the ego death, like at a max here. 10 wands of burden. The burdens are really created by the egoic stories, the attachments, the things we're carrying here. That is all generated by our egoic beliefs. I have to be this way. This has to go that way. Our understanding of what we think needs to happen, why we're carrying what we're carrying, why we're staying where we're staying. Those are all ego stories. I feel like there's a lot of moving parts that you're still shedding in regards to your ego. That might have been very much created at a time when we were younger. Okay, and Spirit's really saying we can't move forward and manifest this until we put down all the wands of the ego, until we fully understand ourselves, because this is what this experience is reflecting back to us. There's a need to heal this and understand this before we can experience this 10 cups. Okay, so again, why we might be asking, why are we feeling like we can't move forward or someone hasn't expressed love? Because the night of, or the experience of feelings is the Knight of Cups. This is how we show and express love. Okay, it's taking action on our feelings here. And so I feel like Spirit is saying the only way we could really take action on feelings, it being accurate, is once we sort of deal with the things that needs to be cleared out, that are sort of stuck here, and really understood, so that it's based on true feelings, true action, and true 10 cups. Not transactional, not egoic love, not some situation here that is really sort of more of a burden than it is liberation. Okay, so this 10 wands is talking about surrender in the reverse. Surrender, surrender, surrender. And what are we surrendering? We have to keep surrendering to, this is a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. Me understanding my egos. That's it. Where I'm attached to emotionally dissatisfying people, situations, places, or things. So a lot of you guys are attached to, or you could definitely be dealing with someone, and it could be mirrored on both sides. Your story of the past, your soulmate, something you built, a community you're attached to, a lifestyle. It's familiar to you. And though it makes us emotionally unhappy, we're sort of sticking to this situation. Spirit is saying there's a need to surrender if we want to find 10 cups. We have to be willing to surrender the 6 cups and the 8 cups to get to a 10. If we stay with the 6 and the 8, then we continue to feel unloved here because we're settling with a situation that feels familiar. And the only way that we could surrender and detach from this is gaining a better understanding, an enlightened perspective upon healing and reflecting that the choice is ours. We don't got to sit here putting up with situations that don't let us move forward, that don't let us manifest, that don't let us express how we feel. Surrender, surrender. Okay, that's what we need to let go of, or else we won't experience the 10 cups. Okay, but we need to be from this ascended point of view of understanding. And in order to become ascended, then we need to take the time to really understand this about ourselves. And this is mirrored. Okay, the situation we're dealing with is mirrored. That's what I mean by mirrored. Is like someone else might be experiencing, dealing with the past that they can't let go of, a person or a place. They might be very attached with their independence. And like I said, if there's a hyper independence about having to make these choices that make me feel free, but I don't understand myself, then I'm more chained to my past. I'm more chained to situations that emotionally don't bring me happiness. So there's a need to find true agency and independence here, and an ability to work together, because the wolves can be very protective of family, but there's a need to really navigate and understand this on a very much more ascended level than maybe how we've been engaged. That really feels like is the block here. Okay, so again, kick it back to self. And this process really requires a feeling of, or not a feeling, sorry, a process of being in solitude. We can't do the reflecting. We can't do the true hermit's journey if we have anyone in our world. It's not the same. And so this is why we're removed. This is why we're isolated. This is why we might feel unloved. But it has nothing to do with feeling unloved. It has everything to do with feeling, alone to figure it out, but not lonely. And so this whole journey is through this deep, intense self-work that we understand where we're supposed to be headed and trust the divine, because we've surrendered and we're flexible with where the divine takes us. But I do feel there's something here about, soul recognition or childhood dream, or something that really speaks to our inner child here that could definitely be guiding us, but it requires a lot of, like I said, like letting go and identifying emotional dissatisfaction and making decisions where we're putting down the ego stories and beliefs that are really getting in the way. So as long as we hold up those wands and those stories, then we're creating obstacles and burdens and obstructions. So the whole point is shedding ego, is shedding burdens, is shedding the weight. And then the pathway is clear here. Okay, so this is your message, pile number 5. I hope this helped you, and I will see you at the next one. Bye. Welcome to the disclaimer. Don't get fooled by people scamming you in the comments section. If you're interested in a private reading, all my contact information is in the description box. And there you will find my website. And that is only through my website can you book private readings at this time. And for those of you guys new to the tarot does not predict your future. Tarot is not set in stone. Tarot is reflecting back to you a state of consciousness that is something you can either resonate with or not. And so it's very important that you are in tune with your intuition so that you know whether the pile you're picking, the information coming through, is reflecting back to you your own intuition, state of consciousness, your subconscious, and this will be the best way for you to know that the message is indeed meant for you. So if your intuition is not clear or it's cloudy, then you might be tapping into the wrong pile, or information might be coming through that is not dictating whatever your circumstance situation is. So it is important that you work with the divine to develop your intuition. Best way is to sit through the card layout, which I do include with most of my readings, where you can ask the divine to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the pile makes sense for you. And so you can ask the divine to show you those signs, symbols, synchronicities, either throughout your dreams or throughout your day, and certainly throughout the reading, so that you can be assured that the messages you're tapping into are the right messages for you. If you are drawn to multiple piles with the pick a card readings, listen to your intuition. A lot of times energy is interconnected, and in this channel, a lot of times all my piles could be interconnected. So do not feel obligated to only select one or all or none. It is definitely up to you and your intuition. If you are in a pile and it is not resonating, there is no need to continue listening to that pile. If it doesn't resonate, sometimes it gives us perspective so that we know what is resonating for us. So even piles that do not resonate could provide some insight. Keep in mind that if you have strong energy in your presence, other people, situations, that could be quite heavy energetically or strong energetically, spiritually heavy, those might pull through the pile. So it might not be your energy that I'm picking up, but your situation, your circumstance, or people that you're dealing with. It's up to you to keep an open mind in regards to what it is that I'm connecting to, if it is resonating to your story. Do not take any messages that don't belong to you. There will be specific messages that come through for certain individuals, even though the pile might be your pile, but the specific message does not connect to you. Do not take those messages. Only take the ones that resonate for you. It should be the overall energy in that pile that is resonating to your story. It is the gist of that energy that should be overall the story or the energy of the situation, circumstance, or the person that I'm tapping into. If you are unprepared to listen to difficult messages, messages that offer healing, messages that might provide someone else's perspective that we're not quite ready to listen to, it might be a good time to come back when we're fully healed or prepared to listen to messages. My commitment to you is to read the cards with transparency and as much compassion as I can. It is difficult for me to provide you with any guidance in the comments section without knowing your specific situation. A lot of times the piles do come reversed and they might not match the exact description of the reading. And although I am posting the description of that reading, my intention is to always deliver that in which the description talks about. But sometimes spirit comes through with the mere reflection of either something objectively pulling through, some guidance pulling through, or something completely unrelated. And that is not up to me, and I certainly don't select what comes through. But Spirit knows when you will click on whichever video in order for you to hear the messages that are being pulled through. It might just be for one person, and that one person was needing to hear it. So if you are frustrated with that, it's early to tell in a reading whether it is resonating or not, especially if we've sat through the card layout. Again, do not feel obligated to take any messages that aren't for you. You can certainly switch your own situation, circumstance, or energy based on the reading you get. So if a reading does resonate, but you want a different outcome, then utilize the reading in order for you to make conscious choices, different decisions, guide the energy in a specific way that you want it to go. This is why we utilize the tarot and the oracle cards in order for us to be conscious of the energy and make shifts. Energy shifts very fast, and it is formless, and it is not time-bound, meaning I could be tapping into present, future, or past situations. If an energy feels like it's an old energy, it's past, you might want to go check out another pile. There could be one that's talking to your current situation, or we could be looking at a future state of consciousness. These readings might not make any sense to you at the time because it is beyond your level of comprehension. You might want to come back to these readings at a later date. That's why all these readings are timeless unless otherwise stated. And so, as I mentioned, it is up to you, depending on when you click on the reading, to know whether it is useful information to help guide you. All of my readings offer a level of healing, whether it is understanding someone else's perspective, if it is understanding our own perspective, tapping into subconscious energies, or looking at objective situations from the point of view of the creator. All information helps us to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can make better decisions when we're involved with difficult or challenging people or circumstances. This is the reason I do the tarot. I do not do the tarot so that we can dwell in hurts and in pain. So if we're suffering, we're allowed to feel how we feel. Pain is inevitable. We all suffer from pain, but the suffering is certainly up to us. And my mission is that we release suffering. Undue suffering does not need to persist. If we choose to suffer, it is because we're making a decision to stay in the suffering. The choice is always ours to get out of suffering. And so sometimes we don't like to hear what it is that's being communicated because it might release us or relieve us from stories, from comfort zones, from pains and clutches that we've used in the past in order for us to feel safe, in order for us to remain in our comfort zone. And as I mentioned, healing isn't always easy. So it is sometimes very difficult for us to acknowledge truths because sometimes a comforting lie is what we choose to believe in. I do not feed comforting lies. I will not read information or readings here that provide you a level of comfort and water the truth down. I don't want you to leave here feeling a false sense of security, but I do want you to leave with a sense that I justified your own intuition, your own energy and suspicion, or whatever you were wanting to confirm with the divine. I also want to make mention that I am not everybody's reader. So at times my voice is annoying, even to myself. And sometimes I deliver messages that aren't quite as concise as they can be. Spirit knows which words I will use in order to channel the information that my soul tribe, the people being drawn to the reading, need to hear. So those words are crafted by the design. I don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to analyze. I do know when it feels right, and I do know that sometimes it's a struggle to come up with a word that can define energy. Energy is not words. Energy can't fit into words. And so sometimes these readings could be a lot of repeating the same thing as I'm trying to find the right word. And if you've tried channeling, you'll notice that a lot of people who channel, they do repeat a lot of words until the right word comes through. Sometimes readings, unfortunately, don't make sense until the very end. And we might go down one path only to find that the answer was something else, or that the reading was something else completely. I don't intend this. Some days my channeling is very strong, and other days it is difficult for me to follow. And sometimes, if it is difficult for me to follow, it can make complete sense on your end, but the delivery on my end might sound a little chaotic or confused because I don't understand everyone's situation and circumstance. Keep in mind, these are general readings, and these readings touch a lot of people, a lot of viewers. If you don't connect with my style, if you don't connect with the readings, then I do suggest you go find another reader. There's many on YouTube. And it could just be the reading or the pile wasn't your fit. So you might want to try another reading from my playlist. And I do hope you guys stay. And I do hope to connect with you guys. I do read all your comments. I do try to reach out to you guys, all of you guys. And if I don't, rest assured, I do see your comments. And I send so much love to you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. And I'm so honored to do this journey with you guys. Bless you and God bless.